Hello guys, and welcome back to our next super efficient build guide. Now today we're following on from the rotor factory layout we built last week. If you want to check that video out, be sure to click the link in the top right corner, and if you like these build guides, be sure to show some love and click the thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. And as a side note, once the game has gone to Steam, we will hopefully have the Satisfactory tips website running alongside this to give you a step-by-step photo and comment guide of this particular layout to help you build it. So do check out the website, the link will be below. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's get into the stator and motor factory layout. Now, the aim of this layout is to produce 20 stators per minute, which will go on to produce 10 motors per minute. So do note that if you are following on from the rotor facility, you will need to double it up for this to run at full efficiency. We are also going to use this space a lot more liberally for this particular build to make it easy to keep up to, and also to allow space for modular engines later on. Start by constructing a 13 wide by 14 deep grid. Now for part 1, we will start by placing the foundries and smelters. Now to get the spacing the same as mine, place a constructor in the last foundation of the first row. You should then place your first foundry flush against the constructor, bridging the penultimate and last foundation like you can see here. Now you can delete the constructor. Place the second foundry next to this one, and we will now place the smelters in line with the foundries, each in the center of a foundation on the other side of the grid. From here, you will want to place a manifold feeding iron into both the foundries, and you will need a separate manifold for copper ore feeding the smelters. From here, we will merge the foundry's steel line together. First, stack a merger 3 high, 2 places in front of the second foundry we placed. Then connect an elevator to it and the foundry. You can now delete the 2 mergers below. Next, place another elevator at the same height from the first foundry we placed, and then use a conveyor to connect it to the merger. Directly in front of the merger, you will now need to place a splitter, again stacked 3 high. Delete the 2 splitters underneath and connect the merger with the splitter via conveyor. In the same row as the splitter, you will want to run mergers in front of the smelters the other side of the factory. These mergers should be also stacked 3 high and this time flowing to the right. Now place elevators after the smelters and connect these elevators to the mergers. Next, we shall place 6 splitters after the merging manifold in the same line. Place each splitter so that it bridges each foundation. Again, stack 3 high and connect them with conveyors. If done correctly, your build at this point should look a bit like this. Moving on to part 2, we will place our 9 constructors. In order to do this, first place 10 constructors in a line. The first 6 will be in front of the splitters that we have just placed. Make sure there is a 2 space gap between the manifold and the constructor, and then you can connect these 6 splitters with the first 6 constructors via elevator. You will now have 4 constructors in the same line which are not connected to a splitter. Delete the first of these constructors so that there is a gap between the first 6 constructors and the last 3. Next, place elevators on the input of these 3 constructors. The middle one should connect to the splitter directly, and the other two will require you to connect them via a conveyor. Once this is done, the 6 connectors will be set to create wire. Note all but one of these constructors will run at 100% clock speed, with the last constructor running at 33%. You will now merge all of these together, flowing towards the 3rd constructor whose merger will be facing forwards. Now, returning to the Foundry section, each constructor will be manufacturing steel pipes at 100% clock speed. Now we need to merge these constructors together. These will then head towards the next splitter manifold, and if done correctly, your build should again look a bit like this. Part 3 covers the assemblers creating the stators as well as the motors. Now, first of all, we shall leave the next row completely free, for the time being at least, as this will eventually be used for the manifolds. Now, in the row following from this, place 4 assemblers in alternate foundations, starting from the 13th column, 1 space from the front edge of the foundation. Once you have placed these 4 assemblers, we will then skip 2 foundations and then place the last 2 assemblers with a space between the both of them as well. Your build should now look like this. From here, we will run a manifold in the free row, taking the wire along to the assemblers, and a second manifold running above this with the steel pipes. Once done, connect the assemblers with elevators and set the assemblers to create stators. This layout should create a total of 20 stators per minute, and from here we will merge these stators together and run them round to the front of the next 2 assemblers using the manifold system, and we're going to make motors in these 2 assemblers. That's providing at this point we bring the rotors from our previous build over to this manifold. Now at this point you can either run the motors to a storage unit or hold on to them in this factory, as later on in the series we will be using them to set up modular engines. So there you are guys, another factory layout complete. Now if you guys did find this video helpful, then please do drop a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Also note we do have an amazing Satisfactory Discord community and we'd love you guys to join us. The link is below, and as I mentioned, we are going to be placing all of these factory build layouts on our webpage as soon as it is released, so do watch this space. Anyway guys, until next time, thank you so much for watching, and as always, ciao for now.